For some people, going to E3 is nothing but a dream. But for me, Ian Higton, this year it was a reality as I jetted off to sunny LA to check out some of the biggest and best games that are coming up in the near future for you gaming guys and gals to enjoy. I grabbed some top exclusive interviews, then flew back to the UK, and a few weeks later headed to Ubisoft's Summer Showcase press event and yoinked even more. So this and the next Platform 32 special will be all about previews, and more previews. In this jam-packed episode there will be sadly no jam, but we will be driving you insane with info about Driver San Francisco. We'll be rushing to fill you in on Metro Last Light details. We'll be going potty about roboties when we find out all about the new MMORPG Transformers universe. Our Saints Row the Third feature will give you an info cap in the ass, and our chat with the lead game designer of Far Cry 3 will leave you crying tears of joy. But before all that, this.
Hi, I'm Andy Wilson. I'm the game director for Bodycount. It's a Codemasters Guild for studio production, and you're watching Platform 32.
At this year's E3, I was lucky enough to get a hands-on with Bodycount. Look, that's me playing the game right there, right then. After playing through a whole mission full of ultra-violence, mega carnage and super scenery destruction, I even found time to grab a chat with Andy Wilson, the game director of Bodycount, so he could make you just as excited as I am about the game. Go, Andy!
Bodycount's a really action-packed game. We're trying to capture that 80s action movie vibe, so the stunt, that's the very elaborate. You can blow a guy through a shreddable wall with a shotgun, you can send him flying 30 meters with a grenade blast. It's all about feeling the power of those weapons and the arsenal that you've got at your disposal, and it's about having fun. It's about an arcade experience. It's not grim, gritty, real-world shooter or some kind of military sim. It's having fun in an arcade game is kind of our main aim.
You might have heard Andy mention shredding just then, and I feel I have to point out that the shredding he's talking about isn't something you do with a guitar. Oh no. In Bodycount, shredding is the term given to the way your weaponry tears away at the environments you play in. Cover doesn't last long in this game, but is Bodycount just copying the Battlefield series when it comes to destruction?
Destruction in Bodycount is not about bringing down buildings, it's not about huge set pieces that you just sort of watch from the background. It's about how you use it in a tactical sense. So cover in the game is very degradable, and what that means is that enemies can't just hide behind indestructible blocks all the way through the game. You can actually drill through to get at them, but then they can do the same to you. So basically what that means is you get a very fast-paced gameplay where the players kept moving and you're keeping the AI moving all the way through. On top of that, you can use things like walls within buildings, doorways, window frames, things like that. Drill through all of those things to outflank your opponents, or just even find somewhere to hold up if you're taking a lot of damage.
Yep, shredding looks great, and if you use it tactically, it really improves the gameplay experience and keeps you on your feet. Codemasters haven't just taken destruction up a notch with shredding though, they've also found a way to implement a new type of cover system into the game. Tell us more, Andy, we must know what it is.
Coverline in Bodycount is an attempt to introduce a cover system for an FPS that doesn't involve just sticking to bits of scenery. So you pull the left trigger down, keep that held down, you retain a full range of movement on both of the analog sticks whilst being rooted to the spot. So it allows you to peek around and above cover without having to actually slide out into the path of gunfire. It also allows you to make use of the cover as it's degrading, so as all the little holes are opening up, you can sort of peek through and actually fire through the cover at your enemies. So it's a great tactical gameplay device.
Lovely stuff. Will Bodycount be representing for the multiplayer massive?
We've got multiplayer in Bodycount, so we've got deathmatch and team deathmatch as the core competitive modes. The reason we've gone for that is what everybody plays, and we wanted to really focus on sort of honing those two modes and using the shredding to actually change how a deathmatch feels. So you've got things like over a 10-minute deathmatch with an environment that starts very pristine and with very few lines of sight throughout that environment. Over 10 minutes or so in a deathmatch, it degrades at such a rate that you get lines of sight opening up through 4, 5, even 6 rooms within a building, which completely changes the gameplay even within a single match. On top of that, we've actually got a bespoke co-op mode as well. So co-op is all about wave attacks for us. So we put you in quite tight arenas, 2-player co-op situation, and then we send in waves of AI.
Awesome! So, when's it out, Andy?
Bodycount is out for the 360 and the PS3, and it's coming out at the end of August this year.
Hello, I'm Martin Edmondson, the founder of Reflections, the creative director of Driver San Francisco, and you're watching Platform 32.
Driver San Francisco is the 5th game in the Driver series, so when I heard that the latest instalment was aiming to bring the gameplay experience back to the old school thrills of the stunning original, I had to know more. I asked Martin Edmondson, the creative director of Driver San Francisco and the designer of the first Driver game, what aspects from the original were being brought to San Francisco and what new features were being included in an effort to put the Driver franchise back into pole position.
The first characters, Tanner, Jericho, Jones, they're all back, and also some of the features like the film directs, so we brought those back as well. So lots there for fans of the original game to really get stuck into. But what we also try to do is really innovate in the game, and what we've done here is bring a brand new feature called Shift. It's the ability for the player to instantaneously, rapidly shift between vehicles with no loading, no delays whatsoever, and it's a real game changer for the driving genre. In fact, we've got the multiplayer around the corner there, and we have a game running called Tag, which you really have to have a play on. You've never played anything like Driver San Francisco multiplayer.
And I certainly did have a go on Tag. In fact, I had quite a few goes, and I have to say it was a gaming equivalent of Haribo Tang Fastix, totally Moorish. It was a very exciting game mode which had many of us perched on the edge of our seats, with near misses and tag stealing really getting the adrenaline pumping. Now, tag mode was the only multiplayer action I got to grips with at the event, but as Martin is about to explain, there are many more modes to look forward to.
We actually have 11 multiplayer modes here today. We're showing tag just because it's the most simple one to demonstrate. The point of tag is very simple game. If you have the tag, you're scoring. You score 1 point per second roughly, and first player to 100 points wins. Anybody rams you when you've got the tag, you lose the tag. You ram them to get the tag back. Lots of shifting around, grabbing cars, full-on oncoming traffic, trying to take them out and get that tag back. We also have capture the flag here today, standard capture the flag mechanic, but it works really unique. You wouldn't normally associate a capture the flag game with a driving game, but with the shift feature, we're really able to do some quite experimental things that work very well with this feature. So we have that. We also have standard races today as well, cop chases as well. And base defense games, two teams, one team defending, one team attacking, one hit takes them out. They're all flying around trying to send cars in like missiles basically, and one team is trying to defend. So we have a whole range of different games here.
Awesome! Thanks, Martin. But before I let you shift into the driver's seat of a Shelby GT500 and burn rubber into the sunset, could you fill the P32 viewers in on when they will be able to play the game?
Driver San Francisco comes out on the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, PC and Mac, and it's out the very beginning of September.
Ooh, not long to wait then, gamers. Now, there hasn't really been a fun, action-packed racing game out for a while now, and I really think Driver San Francisco will hit the spot not only for the driving fans out there, but also the fans of action games too. Roll on, September! Wow, 2 down and already lots to be excited about. But we've only just begun, my friends. Stay exactly where you are, because after the break, we'll be back with features about Metro Last Light, Transformers Universe, Saints Row the Third and Far Cry 3. I know, amazing, isn't it? No need to thank me, it's my pleasure. See you in a sec. Welcome back, you pretty little things. Coming up later on, we've got interviews and gameplay footage from Saints Row the Third and Far Cry 3, but that's not until after the next break. In this section, we'll be finding out about Transformers Universe, a new MMORPG from Jagex, which is set to be every Transformer fan's dream game. But first, here's someone to tell us all about the sequel to survival horror FPS Metro 2033, Metro Last Light. But who is it? Come on, don't be shy. Introduce yourself.
Mark Madsen, Global Brand Manager at THQ, and you are watching Platform 32.
Fact. I loved Metro 2033, so when I heard about the recently announced sequel, Metro Last Light, I was pretty damn excited. According to the press release I have in my sweaty little mitts, Metro Last Light pitches the player into the midst of a desperate civil war for control over a doomsday device that threatens to destroy humanity forever. Ooh, tense. but I wanted to know more, so I hopped over to E3 and spoke to THQ's global brand manager, Mark Madsen, to see if he could shed some light on the dark, dingy Metro tunnel of truth.
Metro Last Light is a continuation of Metro 2033, where you once again take the reins as Artyom and descend back into the Metro. And I can't really share much beyond the story.
Oh, okay. I'll be off then. Thanks for the interview. Nah, only joking. You won't get rid of me that easily. Now, a big part of the Metro experience is fighting in the dark and using the absence of light and a great deal of sneaking around to defeat your foes. Will stealth aspects still feature prominently in the sequel?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of stealth. We're not going away from that. You can expect a slow burn, some survival horror elements where you're going to have to scavenge over corpses to get your bullets, because if you remember the previous game, there weren't many bullets around, so you were always strapped for resources.
And the paranormal horror aspect, will that also be returning?
Yeah, there are going to be moments. It's not going to be horror all the time, but you can expect heavy atmosphere. You're always going to be wondering what the hell is going to happen next.
The main thing that made Metro 2033 so enjoyable for me was the atmosphere that was conjured up by the deep involving storyline and the realistic atmosphere that the game created through the use of its NPCs. Please say we'll be getting more of the same and the game won't receive a dumbing down in order to reach a wider audience.
Oh yeah, we're not going away from our slow burn story-driven narrative. We're going to have a lot of cinematics to really give you the setting and the context that really makes you feel like you want to fight.
Oh yeah, I want to fight! Which is useful because in Metro 2033 we were put up against, amongst other things, demons, anomalies, ghosts, and even the Nazi Reich. So who or what will we be fighting this time around?
Well, I will say that we are going to have new human factions that you're going to fight against, and we are going to have a whole new host of creatures and a new mutant that we are debuting in our booth today.
So Mark, although you've been pretty secretive, you've still said enough to get me excited about our next journey into the Moscow Underground. So when can we expect to be getting it on with Artyom?
So Metro Last Light will be out in 2012 on the PC, Xbox 360, PS3, and the Wii U.
And the Wii U as well.
Just announced today.
Wow, so is it going to be a completely different game, or is it going to be the same game? Can't say.
It's going to be something great for the fans.
So although Mark remained tight-lipped about pretty much every aspect of the game, the fact that THQ and 4A Games will be sticking closely to the formula already established in Metro 2033 makes me a happy bunny. If they can make the combat a little bit less clunky and fine-tune the enemy AI, then this new chapter in the Metro franchise should be a corker. Transformers. I loves them. But other than Transformers on the PS2, pretty much every game based on the franchise has been utter robo-bobbins. But could this pattern be set to change thanks to a new browser-based MMO featuring everyone's favourite Cybertronians? Chris Jones, executive producer of Transformers Universe, transform and tell us about the game.
Transformers Universe is a new MMO, and it's going to be a free-to-play on the browser-based, in a browser-based window game. It's going to be, you're going to be able to create your own Transformer from scratch. Every type of vehicle, creature, you're going to be able to do all different types of cars and bikes and planes and everything. The key thing is you're going to be doing what you expect to do with a 60-foot giant robot.
Wow, so it sounds like there's going to be a hell of a lot of content here for Transformers fans. The fact that Chris mentioned you could even change into creatures means that we won't just be confined to cars and planes for the bots' alt modes. So fingers crossed we'll be seeing Insecticons, Dinobots and a hell of a load more. Transformers wouldn't be Transformers without all that transforming malarkey. Tell me, how important is transforming your Transformers in Transformers Universe?
Transformation's key, so your car is not just a mount, it's about making sure that the transformation process is integral to the game at every point, and that it's cool, and that it feels good, and that you feel like you're this massive giant robot. So you're not just like, I want to go to A to B, so I'll drive there in my car, and then I'll transform, do a load of action stuff. It's about making sure that you're constantly thinking, okay, should I be in car mode? or should I be in robot mode, and everyone else is trying to make that same decision around you. So yeah, that's massively key for us. Transformation is the lifeblood of the game, and I want to make sure that we're leveraging that in every shape and form throughout the gameplay experience.
So Chris, when will Transformers Universe be unleashed on the bot-hungry gaming world?
So we launch next year, but that's just the beginning. It's going to be a great game, but over the next, RuneScape's been going 10 years, and I want this to go 10, 15 years. By the end of it all, I want all of those 11,000 characters. So I've challenged my artists to do. I want all the characters in the game, everyone's fan favourites. I want them all in the game, and I want them all, you know, I want all the fans saying my guy's in there and all that kind of stuff.
Awesome. Literally cannot wait for this one. It sounds like Jagex are making the definitive Transformers game, and one which isn't just a hurried cash-in on an incredibly disappointing movie franchise. Finally Chris, because Optimus Prime is like the coolest robot ever, I'm an Autobot through and through. But which side will you be taking in Transformers Universe? Autobot or Decepticon? Autobot or Decepticon?
I'm going to go with the Autobots. But I must admit, I do like the shadier Autobots. I'm a fan of like your Grimlocks and your characters where they're like an Autobot, but they kind of don't really want to be an Autobot. You know, those kind of characters have got a bit of a mean edge to them.
Although there is hardly any solid information on the game yet, and no in-game footage that we can show you, it is obvious to see that Transformers Universe is in the hands of passionate, knowledgeable Transformers fans, and because of this you can expect the game to be something special. So, if I were you, I would do exactly what Chris says and sign up in preparation for the beta. I have, and it didn't hurt a bit, so go for it. What are you waiting for? I'm not waiting for anything, me, but I will be in a minute when the ads are on. But what will I be waiting for? Only exclusive interviews with the developers of 2 of my most wanted games, and those games are Saints Row the 3rd and Farcry 3, and they'll be up right after this. It's that time again, the final part of the show. It's always a sad moment, but to make it that little bit happier, I've saved the best bits till last. Topping off the show today will be a feature on the 3rd game in the Far Cry series, which is imaginatively titled Far Cry 3. But first, it's a game that's taking weirdness to the max. It's Saints Row the 3rd. I spoke to someone quite important about the game actually, but rather embarrassingly, I've forgotten his name. Eek! Oh, I just wish there was a way he could introduce himself.
My name is Greg Donovan. I'm the producer on Saints Row the 3rd, and you are watching Platform 32.
The developers of Saints Row the 3rd have cleverly decided to improve on what makes Saints Row stand out amongst the giants of the gaming world. This time round, the Saints' adventure is even more action-packed, even more imaginative, and best of all, it's completely and utterly batshit crazy! So what's going on with the Purple Pimps this time? I held Saints Row the 3rd senior producer Greg Donovan at gunpoint and threatened him with a kneecapping unless he spilled the beans. Oi, Donovan, talk!
Saints Row the 3rd starts off with the Saints are at the top of their game. They have licensed out their image to lunchboxes, tennis shoes. They're even making a Saints Row movie within the Saints Row game universe. So basically these guys they got all the money, drugs, sex, power that they want. No more starting from the bottom, working your way up. They're the kings of Stillwater. They rob a bank in Stillwater because old habits die hard, and unbeknownst to them, that bank is owned by the Syndicate. The Syndicate is a very powerful multinational gang made up of 3 separate gangs. The Syndicate doesn't take kindly to the Saints robbing their bank, and they say, you know what, we've been watching you, why don't you come join us? And the Saints, in true Saints fashion, say, no thank you, we think we're pretty bad, we're not going to join you. That establishes the conflict. The Saints are kidnapped by the Syndicate, they obviously escape, and they end up landing in Steelport, which is the new city where Saints Row the 3rd takes place. So basically it amounts to the Saints, you calling the shots as a player and leading the Saints, figuring out who are the Syndicate, where are they, and let's make sure that the Syndicate understands once and for all that we own this new city in addition to Stillwater.
As I mentioned before, Saints Row the 3rd will be pushing the boundaries of fun and sanity on its release. But how will it do that, Greg? How?
The Saints Row franchise is known for being over the top, and on Saints Row the 3rd, we're taking that vision and what we believe pushing the limit. For example, our philosophy is, why let players be equipped with a baseball bat when you can give them a giant purple dildo? It fits the universe, it's more fun, the games are all about more fun. That's the gestalt of this franchise. Another example is an airstrike. And we give that early on in the game. We want players in the sandbox to have fun toys to play with right from the get-go. So you see this group of gang members out in the city, you could take them out with an AK-47, but you've got an airstrike, hell of a lot more fun to do. Let's give player choices and let's make sure that some of those choices are way over the top.
As a senior producer of Saints Row III, you must know the game inside out. After spending so much time with Saints Row III and its off-the-wall weaponry, what tool of destruction has emerged as your overall favourite?
Well, I'd say his favorite weapon, we have a weapon that's called the remote control weapon. And basically what you can do is fire it at a vehicle, and then you take remote control of that vehicle, which is really fun when you start playing co-op, for example. If your buddy is flying in an airplane and you have a remote control gun, you fire the airplane, you take control of it, and you can actually make he or her smash and crash, and that's a lot of fun. It's very unique. It's something that just fits in the game perfectly.
Finally, Greg, can you let me know when I'll be able to get to grips with a giant purple dildo in the comfort of my own home? Well, apart from this weekend of... when's the game out?
Saints Row III ships on November 15th in North America, but November 18th in the UK and Europe on PS3, 360 and PC.
Hi there, my name's Jamie Keane. I'm the lead game designer on Far Cry 3 and you're watching Platform 32.
I'm super buzzed about Far Cry 3, so I barged and elbowed my way through the crowds to grab an interview with Jamie Keane, the lead game designer of Far Cry 3. Jamie, Far Cry 3, tell me all about it!
Far Cry 3, basically you're playing a character called Jason Brody. You're trapped on this mysterious island, your boat's been destroyed, your girlfriend's been kidnapped, and everybody that you're running into now has got a real heavy vein of insane going on with them, definitely. We wanted to kind of take on a lot of the authenticity of the Far Cry world and really pick the moments that we feel really kind of work for the Far Cry universe. So we've taken a lot of the settings from Far Cry 1 in terms of the kind of the overall feel of the place that you're in, kind of combine that with the kind of the grittiness of Far Cry 2, and then lace that really heavily with the kind of the character and narrative that we want to bring to the table, where you feel this is a much more human scale thing. This isn't something where you're going to be, saving the universe from invading aliens or anything like that. This is going to be much more about you can make it through this world, and that's enough of a win for you.
So it's you against an army of psychos on a crazy island somewhere? I like those odds. Setting the game on a remote island in the middle of nowhere is pretty cool for two reasons. Firstly, the sense of isolation and the knowledge that no one will be coming to help you will make your situation much more terrifying, and as a result the game will feel infinitely more intense and exciting. And secondly, it means the game will again be a huge open world experience. At least I think it will be open world. Will it, Jamie?
Yeah, this is going to be a bona fide open world experience. The open world environments, they're really deep in the Far Cry DNA, and that's absolutely something that we want to be hitting as well for Far Cry 3. We want you to be able to decide, okay, I want to engage with the action now, or now I want to go off and explore the world.
Great stuff. So, like in the previous games, will we be able to tackle the missions however we want, with whatever weapons we can lay our hands on?
I think we want players to kind of feel that it's basically up to them the way they want to approach a situation. Yeah, you're going to find weapons out in the world, and you're going to be able to find upgrades and upgrade the weapons that you're using, but it's going to be really up to the player. He decides how he engages with any situation tactically. If he wants to go more stealthy, he can go more stealthy. If you want to go more action oriented, it's kind of up to you. We want to make sure that everything is kind of supported, both in terms of the AI, player progression. Everything will kind of let you play the game that you want to, the way you want to play it.
Far Cry 2 had groundbreaking dynamic fire physics, which meant it would spread and burn the surrounding areas at random, just like real fire does. And because of this, a clever player could use this to give them a tactical advantage when assaulting enemies' bases. Will the realistic fire physics be making a return in Far Cry 3?
Yeah, I mean, the fire will be back again. I mean, hopefully people will be pleased to hear about that. It's something that we're really excited about delivering. So yes, there's going to be fire stuff. Again, the kind of things from Far Cry 1, like thinking about the swimming in the world, we really enjoyed that. We were all kind of sitting down and it's like, yeah, the swimming went really, really well. So you're going to get much more of a sense of that, where you can kind of dive underwater, swim around the back and take these guys by surprise. So it's going to be things like that that we really want to kind of grow on and improve from the previous versions.
Thanks, Jamie. Finally, when will us gamers get to experience Far Cry 3 in the comfort of our own homes?
We're coming in 2012, we're coming on PC, Xbox 360 and PS3.
So there you have it. Far Cry 3's campaign mode is looking like it will be absolutely stunning, and chatting to Jamie has only amplified my excitement for the game. If the game can keep this viciously dark, twisted edge to it, Jason Brody's fight for survival looks set to be an utterly thrilling one and a definite day one purchase for any self-respecting FPS fan. Phew, all done. And now my brain is sufficiently full of gorgeous gaming info, I'm going to toddle off and make a cheese and pickle sandwich so my belly can be full as well. Om nom nom nom. Cheese. If you still haven't had enough game-based goodness though, you can see extended versions of all these interviews by popping on over to the Platform32 YouTube channel and checking them out in our upload section. Don't forget to comment and subscribe when you're there, it makes me do a smile. Stay tuned to Platform32 as our next special will also be chock full of gaming previews from E3 and other press events. Oh, and don't forget, if you want to get all social with us and chat games, we also hang out on Twitter and Facebook. Look out for the links in the end credits. Happy gaming, yo! Bye!